the Cougar Tailgate, where BYU fandom lives. Here's your host, Lauren McLean.
What is up, Cougar fans? This is the show where we take fans into LaVell Edwards Stadium and show them what a game day is really like. This is episode 3, and if you're keeping track at home, BYU is undefeated since we have come on the air, I'm just saying. Let's take a look back on how the Cougars picked up their second straight overtime victory.
To the wide right for Slovis in the gun. He claps the hands, takes a chest-high snap. He will throw quickly, batted up, and intercepted! Did they get it? If they got it, it's over! It's over! The Cougars picked it off!
Things didn't start looking this optimistic when USC opened the game with a quick drive resulting in a 7-yard pass from rookie Kedon Slovis to Michael Pittman Jr. for a touchdown. Just a few minutes later, however, BYU's own Peyton Wilgar intercepted a pass to set up a short 28-yard drive, ending in a touchdown run for, Dayan Ghanwoloku. You heard that right. The star cornerback for BYU ran it in from 1 yard out with a big defensive tackle, Khyiris Tonga, leading the way. Both teams would stay locked at 7 points apiece until late in the fourth quarter when BYU's kicker Jake Oldroyd was able to knock down a field goal to give the Cougars the lead. Shortly after the start of the second quarter, USC was able to notch a field goal of their own and tie the game up 10-10. On the next drive, BYU would go 74 yards and cap off the drive with Zach Wilson throwing a 30-yard dime of a pass to receiver Dax Milne for the touchdown. Milne had a defender all over him and was able to pull in the pass for an incredible catch, which sent the home crowd into a frenzy.
Zach throws to the 10, to the 5, caught at the goal line. Touchdown, Cougars! Touchdown, Cougars! And Dax Milne puts the Cougars back on top.
The excitement would be short-lived, though, as on the next possession, USC had an impressive drive of their own, ending in a 5-yard touchdown run by the Trojan running back, Vavae Malepeai, to tie the game at 17. Early in the fourth quarter, USC would score, with Kedon Slovis connecting with Michael Pittman Jr. again to take the lead 24-17. BYU would answer by scoring its first points of the second half, coming in the form of a 32-yard field goal by Jake Oldroyd. Just one possession later, BYU would take the lead again with its electrifying young quarterback Zach Wilson making an incredible run to score the go-ahead touchdown and bring the game to 27-24 for the Cougars. USC would tie the game with a field goal with just a minute 48 left, forcing the game into overtime. The Cougars possessed the ball first in OT and ended their drive with a 42-yard field goal from kicker Jake Oldroyd, a.k.a. Ice Coldroyd, self-proclaimed. The Trojans now had their chance to score and could tie the game with a field goal of their own or win the game with a touchdown. Their drive was short and came down to a crucial 3rd and 6 play. USC's quarterback, Kedon Slovis, dropped back to pass and threw a ball into heavy coverage where the ball was tipped and intercepted by Dayan Ghanwoloku, and the game was over. BYU edged out USC in overtime with a final score of 30-27, and the Cougars improved to 2-1 on the season. This week is another tough matchup facing the 22nd nationally ranked Washington Huskies.
I'm lucky I get to be around these young men, and I get to be around awesome fans, and so I think the perception, it doesn't really matter. We had a great moment, a great experience, and memories that'll last forever, and then that's I can't wait to make some more.
Washington is coming off a big win for their team over the University of Hawaii. The Huskies were able to execute their game plan and ended the game with a deciding score of 52-20. Washington opened the game with a quick drive to score a touchdown with a pass from quarterback Jacob Eason to receiver Hunter Bryant and wouldn't look back. By the end of the second quarter, the Huskies had already taken a crushing 31-point lead and would start the second half up 38-7. After a brief surge from the Rainbow Warriors, Washington would come alive in the fourth to score 2 more touchdowns, putting the nail in the coffin and making the final score 52-20. One of those late TDs was the first of Puka Nakua's collegiate career. That name should sound a little familiar to BYU faithful. He's the younger brother of former Cougar safety and all-time interceptions leader Kai Nakua. The true freshman was a 4-star recruit out of Orem High School right up the street and chose UW over BYU, USC, and others on signing day. He heads back to Utah this week in the first game away from Seattle for the 22nd-ranked Huskies. The Cougs will have to be ready for a couple future draft prospects that had great games last weekend. Jacob Eason, the Washington quarterback, was able to pick apart the Hawaii defense and ended the game with an impressive stat line, completing 18 of 25 for 262 yards and 3 touchdowns. In addition to having a quarterback playing so well, the defense for the Huskies was able to cause quite a few problems for the Rainbow Warriors. Washington was able to intercept the ball on 3 separate occasions, with 2 of the interceptions coming from the exceptional defensive play of DB Miles Brandt. When we get back to the Cougar Tailgate, we will talk to The Rock about the new throwback uniforms BYU will wear today against the Washington Huskies.
Did you know that the first wave at a college football game, where all the fans stand up and cheer one after another going around the stadium, happened at the University of Washington in a game between the Huskies and the Cardinal, Halloween night of 1981.
Welcome back, everybody. It's game day. BYU versus the Washington Huskies. The Cougars debuting some impressive throwback jerseys, helmets, and socks. We went on campus to talk to the youngsters about what they thought about the old school uniforms.
This is Rock Talk on Cougar Tailgate.
I think they're pretty clean, yeah. Pretty sick.
Honestly, I really like the royal bottoms with the white jerseys. The helmets, I don't know, I've seen what a lot of people think about them. I personally think they're kind of cool.
It looks really nice, actually. Really well designed.
I'm stoked. I think they're super cool.
I think those are pretty slick. I think those look pretty fresh. They're modern. They make them seem more intimidating than they probably actually are.
Okay, I think the new jerseys are pretty basic looking. They're nice and sleek. The only thing I don't really like is the Y on the helmet. It looks kind of crooked and it kind of throws me off. So other than that, everything is great.
Those look amazing.
I really like the new uniforms that they've put together for this game. I think it's really exciting for fans, and it'll help the fan base to be able to continue to cheer on a team that has gotten the ball rolling here in the last couple games. And it'll be a fun sight to see them bring back some old traditions to a newfound rivalry against Washington.
It's beautiful, very blue, shiny. I like the little sparkle in the corner right there.
That's what the students think of the throwback whiteout jerseys, but what are some of their favorite jerseys of all time?
I think my favorite's the blackout, but I think it'd be cool to see a blackout with the royal numbers and stuff too.
I do like blue a lot. I'm a blue lover, so...
Probably the navy blue. Yeah.
The classic.
Yeah, the classic. Yeah, I like classics.
I gotta say the royal, but I like the royal with the white bottom.
Definitely white. It's kind of, I don't know, it's just kind of clean, and then sometimes you see the grass stains that just shows how hard they're playing. So, yeah, just white.
My guess is just the navy. Yeah.
I'm an all Royals fan. I think that looks really awesome with just the white accents. I think that looks really solid and makes us look like a team with authority.
I've always been a fan of the royal. I like royal and black as well. It's a little bit less garish, I think, but I think that these are good looking. These are good looking jerseys.
I really liked the blackout uniforms that they rolled out a few years ago, but they have not seemed to make a comeback in a couple years, so we'll see if they come back.
All right, they have some opinions that are all over the place, but let's bring in our producer, Cole, to see what some of our favorite jerseys are.
We've got opinions,
past,
too.
Present, and possibly future, if we have any, Cole. We'll see.
So we're going to design some of our own
we can design
right now?
some.
All right.
Let's do it. And it's definitely going to not include the bib.
Ooh, So we're getting right into it.
Let's just get into it.
BYU's most controversial, most reviled, a stain upon the uniform history of a proud institution, the bib. And the thing about the bib is that it wasn't even a bib on both sides, you know? Like it was white on the front, it was a bib.
Uh-huh.
But the back was blue, and the NCAA officially came down and said, this jersey is so bad. You cannot have this anymore. You can't have a two-tone jersey where it's white on the front and blue in the back. No more. No more.
I love that the NCAA had to intervene with BYU and say, listen, those are ugly. You can't do that. Of course the NCAA intervened, but that's a whole other story. Right?
Oof. But the tan part of them wasn't the bad part because
You didn't mind the tan.
I think that there are a couple really good diamonds in the rough there in those tan years. I don't hate them across the board. I think the bibs deservedly get a bad rap. But the tan sleeves that were going on in that time, or even the kind of accents that came up across the jersey, the way the Jacksonville Jags, so the Jags have had all kinds of uniforms across the years. Their 2012, like Maurice Jones-Drew-ish era had these cool stripes that came up and framed the numbers really well. We did that with tan. I thought that worked okay.
Okay. I don't mind the tan. I like the solid, you know? I mean, show me a great design with the tan, and I could possibly like it. The ones I've seen it was in the 90s, right? That's when
late 90s.
We were rocking the tan. I didn't hate it, but now when you see the uniforms now, when you see like the solid black or the solid white or royal blue, or even the navy, it's like, oh yeah, that just looks sleek. It looks nice. And not gimmicky or cheesy.
Right. If there's ever going to be a time, though, to bring back the tan, it's while we got Kalani as coach because that was his era at BYU.
But we need it. Man, I'm going to ask Kalani what he thought of those.
He had to wear them. He's going to have an opinion.
He's for sure going to have an opinion. I'm actually upset I didn't ask him this past week leading up to this game. But yeah, my favorite jersey that I've seen so far that just like popped to me was the blackout. Is when BYU does the blackout. I think that is so awesome. And I know black isn't traditionally one of BYU's colors per se, but it just looks so intimidating to me. I mean, like intimidating in a good way to the other team. It just looks very, very sleek.
And I like how it works with the royal accents.
Yes, with the royal accent. Oh my goodness. And yeah, the black matte helmets with the royal blue Y. Oh. Yep, that's probably my absolute favorite. What about you?
And it looks great under the lights. It's either that all black or bringing the royal into it as well. The best game of the year. It's the rivalry game when you get all royal versus all red, the color-on-color matchup. So I'll be honest, I suffer from an ailment known as colorblindness that affects so many of us across the nation. When the NFL first started doing color-on-color matchups, the very first game they did was the Bills and the Jets. And that was red versus green on a green field where everything just blended together for me. And it was just the worst night of football of my visual life. But blue versus red is enough contrast, and they both wear a little bit of a brighter version of it than they normally do, and I love how that looks under the lights.
Ooh, that's awesome. Side note, Blaine Fowler, who is the color commentator for BYUtv Sports and one of the animals. He also is colorblind. His wife has to pick out all his outfits every day, so you're not alone.
Good
you're
company.
Not alone in this. Yes.
All right.
And he always looks great, so you never know. But yes, I'm with you. I love the red against the blue. It hasn't reaped many benefits for BYU in the last
some rough
decade
memories
or so.
with it.
But man, it looks good.
Yeah,
and that's all that matters sometimes, right?
My last thing I want to bring up is maybe it just comes from when I grew up watching college football. I want to see the helmet stickers come back.
Okay,
that's an underrated part of like the Ty Detmer-ish era of BYU, where just classic royal jerseys, nothing fancy going on, but on that white helmet, you put a couple stickers on the back for the guys that like do really well in a game. Right. I like that idea.
I like the idea. Then you have some newcomer come in that feels really stupid because he has nothing on his helmet.
But he'll earn them.
He's
got the chance.
I hope so. All the fans are going to be like, ha, you don't have any tackles from the sideline. Cole, something I really loved in 2017 is when they put the Lavelle patch in honor of Lavelle Edwards after he passed away on all the jerseys. I just thought, man, Lavelle Edwards is such an incredible guy and obviously has done everything for BYU football and brought it to where it is now. So for them to honor him that way throughout the season, even though it wasn't the best season in 2017. Unfortunately, I just thought that was a phenomenal addition to the jerseys.
And I loved how the fans came together. You just remember the community that we're a part of here in BYU football. Everyone has a just beloved memory of Coach Edwards. And when Kalani and the coaches were first wearing those patches on Media Day, and that coverage was on BYUtv and people saw it, people reached out. They wanted to buy these patches. They wanted to kind of support a good cause and remember Lavelle and the great coach and the guy whose name's on the stadium and who's done so much for us here at BYU football.
Oh, totally. You can rarely talk to Kalani without him mentioning something about Lavelle Edwards and the impact that he had on Kalani during his life, and not only just as a coach but as a person. So it was a special thing, and I like what you said. It did bring the fans together, and probably a good year to do it since it was kind of a
we
down
needed a little
year.
bit of gel that year.
We needed some unity that year, so the Lavelle patch definitely added a little of that. All right, so those are our thoughts on some of our favorite uniforms. And when we come back in just a little bit, we're going to be talking to the Hadleys, Spencer and Matt. And I promise it's an interview that you're not going to want to miss.
Did you know that the voice of the Huskies for 37 years was Bob Rondo, stepping away from the booth at the end of the 2017 season? His catchphrase for UW football all those years? A simple touchdown Washington.
Touchdown Washington!
As we listen to Bow Down to Washington, we welcome onto the show a couple of Washington natives. Matt and Spencer Hadley grew up in rural Washington State before coming to Provo to play for BYU. With only a couple years break for missions, there was a Hadley playing linebacker for the Cougars from 2008 to just last year, 2018. Welcome to the Cougar Tailgate, Spencer and Matt. Guys, thanks for being here with us.
Of course. Thanks for having us.
You guys, man, this is a pleasure. This is a pleasure having both of you on here. You both played the same position, well, at some point. Do you know who had more tackles? Spencer, we'll start with you.
Pretty sure I did. If not, I'm going to be upset.
Matt, what do you have to say to that?
Yeah, I don't know why he's saying pretty sure. I think he's pretty confident that he did.
He did, but to be fair, Matt does have more rushing yards.
That is true.
So he could say that.
Spence. More touchdowns than you also.
There you go. Hey, they miss you against Utah this year. Hey, Matt, when somebody asks you what position you played at BYU, what do you tell them? Like, what's the first position you say?
Yeah, honestly, usually I say safety, and then I guess I always answer, well, I started out at playing safety, and then people usually kind of want to hear the story, and so I try to give them the quick version. I don't want to bore people that ask, but usually, yeah, I tell them that I play safety.
Safety. All right. Hey, you can never bore a huge BYU fan. You guys should know that. They want to know every single detail. So were either of you recruited to the local schools, or were you pretty set on BYU? Spencer, we'll start with you.
Sure. I was initially. In fact, I remember this conversation. I was talking to our head football coach in high school, Wayne Reiner, and he came up to me in gym class. We were out in the gym getting ready for PE. He's our weight training coach or teacher as well. Mm-hmm. He's like, "Yeah, man, I just had a conversation with WSU and UW," and I was like, "Oh, sweet." He's like, "Yeah, but they asked if you were going on a mission," and I said, "Yeah, absolutely." And they said, "Oh, never mind."
Oh man, classic.
I said, "Good riddance."
I'm sure in high school that was the first thing you said. Good riddance, you guys. So then, since that time, you were pretty set on BYU.
I was always set on BYU. Matt can tell you as well. We grew up diehard fans. Our parents, they're pretty diehard. They both went to school at BYU. My dad loved BYU. We went and visited campus every year as a family vacation, and so it was always the goal. We always wanted to play at BYU. So I really did say good riddance. My primary goal was BYU. So
I love that, and I love that you took family vacations to BYU campus. That's a Cougar family right there. Matt,
priorities.
That's right. Matt, what was your recruitment like?
Yeah, it was very similar actually to Spencer. University of Washington, they posed the same question. Spencer was given, I'm going on a mission. That's what I needed to do, what I wanted to do, and so yeah, for them it was kind of like, well, okay, if you're going to do that, then never mind. Washington State, I had a better relationship just because a lot of that staff was at Eastern Washington,
okay,
and they were recruiting me, and so there was a better relationship there. But I think they knew the whole time that I was pretty much all in with BYU. Coach Mendenhall had offered me at summer camp right after my sophomore year of high school, and I had committed to him that day. So I was pretty, I was all in at that point.
So you guys, I'm sure, rooted for some teams in Washington growing up, professional or collegiately. Which teams did you guys root for?
I honestly never really did. Our area, it was an agricultural area, so a lot of our neighbors and our friends' parents went to WSU for the ag program.
Mm-hmm.
And so very strong fan base for WSU where we grew up.
Okay.
And that just made us like them less because they're like, oh, we're the real Cougars. And we're like, yeah, right. So, and then
awesome.
the Dogs being over in Seattle, we don't really, we don't really care for that side of the state. So
there you go. What about the old Sonics?
Oh yeah,
we did cheer for the Sonics. We went to a couple of those games. Matt, you go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, I grew up with posters on my wall from the Sonics. We both did. In fact, we shared a room. So those posters were up. I mean, we weren't diehard fans, but, I may or may not years when they left Seattle. Just because I was never a big Seahawks fan or Mariners fan. So it was just kind of like, well, the only professional sports team that I really cheer for from my home state just left. And so, I was a little emotional, I guess you could say, but
hey, that's killer as a kid.
Fan, yes.
That is killer as a little kid. Your favorite team. Yeah. Oh my goodness. I feel bad for little Matt. So what made you guys talked about how your parents went to BYU and you just grew up huge BYU fans, but what ultimately made you choose BYU, Spencer?
Ultimately, so we're not the oldest in our family. I've got 3 siblings that are older than me, and they were all attending BYU. And just beyond that, I mean, the family aspect, so our parents being fans, and then, our watching BYU football all growing up, my older siblings, those all factored in. I would say the biggest reason would just be, affiliation with the church and wanting to be there, knowing that was the best place for us to be, and that was the biggest draw for me. I guess I'd say for me. I don't know if that's the same for Matt, I would assume, but
yeah, Matt, what was the impact of having Spencer on the team for you choosing BYU, even though it sounded like your mind was already made up anyway?
Yeah, well, I think a big reason why my mind was already made up was because Spencer was there. We grew up 4 years apart, so we never really got to play with each other, in high school sports. There were a few times during summer league basketball when I was in 8th grade where the coach would give me a chance to play with those guys. And that was something that, I cherish, even though, those are some memories I cherish even to this day. So that was the biggest, one of the biggest pulls for me. And Spencer, obviously, he said the other reasons as well. The atmosphere and the type of, just the place that BYU is, it's hard not to be drawn to that place. So, Spencer being there was a huge reason why, and knowing that I would be able to play with him was a huge reason why, it was an easy decision for me.
I love that. That's fantastic. So you guys obviously know a lot about BYU and the traditions, and on this show, the Cougar Tailgate, we like to bring football traditions to the national fan base that may have never been to Provo for a game before. Spencer, what was your favorite tradition around BYU sports?
Favorite tradition around BYU sports? I kind of have some pride in the Cougar Walk tradition, even though that's a newer thing. I like it because Kyle Van Noy, Brandon Ogletree, and myself kind of started that thing.
Really?
And a few others, yeah. But we were the ones that, because they had it. Where was it that we went that they did it? It was at Ole Miss.
Okay.
It was Ole Miss. They had something similar, and we were like, we need to start doing that. So we started walking actually from the practice facility over to the stadium.
Like just the four of you?
Yeah. And then it grew. There were a few others that started walking with us. I think J.D. Falslip would do it as well, a few others. But and then it grew from there. They didn't want us walking anymore. So then the next year they did the Cougar Walk, where they dropped us off on the north end of the stadium. And then I think it's changed since then. It's gotten bigger and it's gotten better. But I like that one because we kind of started it. So
oh my gosh, that is an awesome story, and I love that they're like, we don't want these guys walking that far anymore. Let's
Matt,
bring them a little closer.
That year.
Yeah, I think I remember
that was my
carrying all
junior
your
year.
guys'
You were,
bags.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I was like the pack. I was the pack mule for the walk.
He was, but Matt was behind everyone, carrying everyone's bags.
Everybody just tossed their bags on me. I think people that saw us walking, they probably thought I was like, just there to either help with the equipment, like one of the equipment managing staff. I don't know. But, yeah, I do remember carrying about 4 or 5 duffel bags on that walk. And let me just say, it's a pretty far walk when you got that many bags all wrapped around you. So,
dang, I hope you weren't playing that year. You didn't have any energy left by the time you got to the game.
Yeah, exactly. I was out there a little bit on special teams, but yeah, I guess you could say I was involved in starting that tradition as well.
As the pack mule, but hey, no one needs to know that. No one needs to know that.
No.
Yeah,
exactly. I mean, I'm sure, Lauren, you're great at what you do, so I'm sure that you're going to have a lot of listeners here because they want to listen to you.
Sure.
So they might hear that, but that's okay.
Yeah, no, it's all right.
It's a good story.
it teaches everyone a little humility,
That's right.
And your
exactly.
big brother was picking on you a little bit. Matt, okay, what was your favorite tradition at BYU?
Wow, yeah, great question. Man, yeah, I even had time to think about it while Spencer was giving his answer. It's I don't know if this was so much of a tradition as it was just a lot of the extra outside of football, a lot of the extra things that we were able to do. Starting with Coach Mendenhall, we were able to do the firesides, which I loved. I always left those firesides, feeling like I got a lot out of them. And but then with Coach Kalani, just a lot of the extra, service projects and obviously the More to Life Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that, it's not directly related to football in the sense where, we're not playing the game or it's the day before the game or anything. But to me, it was a huge part of my experience there and my growth there as a person. And I would say I really enjoyed those. Of course, the Cougar Walk and everything else is fantastic. But, experiences like those, I really did enjoy and cherish.
I love that. An opportunity to reach out to fans and other people and make a difference during your time as a BYU athlete.
Exactly.
I think that's awesome. So you have Spencer here that making you the pack mule, and then you're saying your favorite part was doing service. So I see the dynamic. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing.
I think it's fair. I think it's pretty easy to see, who the favorite child was in the family, and I mean,
it's becoming clear. It's becoming clear.
Good.
Yeah. All right. Well, today is the whiteout at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. What's it like playing in an atmosphere like that where all the fans are wearing the same color and you're in those same jerseys as well? Spencer, what's that like?
Oh, it's a blast. It's fun. Anytime there's like a specialty game, the Royal game or the blackout, the whiteout, it's fun. You come out and you kind of see the sea of all one color and the unity that it represents, and they're there for you, you're there for them. We're all kind of in it together. It's fun. It's fun to take the field, and it always kind of adds a little bit to the energy. The fan base seems a little more fired up when you have a game like that. And you usually do it for big games, and so that kind of adds to it too. But it's fun. I always enjoyed when we had games that were like that, where there was either a white out, like I said, or royal, or the blackout, or different things. It adds to it, and it's a lot of fun as a player.
Matt, what was your favorite jersey that you got to wear as a BYU football player?
Good question. Probably just the royal top. I'm a big fan of the royal. I think it I don't know. To me, it just looks good. Plus, we don't have to. I don't have to feel like I'm matching Utah State at all. Which, come on, we don't want to be matching them in any way. So
bring the royal back.
I always, yeah, exactly. I was always a big fan of the royal, and yeah, I would say that's probably my favorite jersey for sure.
Yeah, it looks pretty dang good. Yeah, Kalani's trying, man. Kalani is trying to
he is.
to make it all royal. He's doing everything in his power, except for his little mixture of the royal hat and the navy top that he always wears coaching. A lot of people have a hard time with that, but that's for another day. So we've been asking a lot of people about the jerseys for today. They're throwbacks. Do you guys have any thoughts on what you think of those throwback jerseys? Spencer, what do you think?
Oh,
have you seen those? They're all over social media.
Be popular.
Oh, okay.
I've seen them. I know. I might become the enemy. No, they're not the worst. I'm not a huge fan.
Really?
How come? I feel like we missed an opportunity.
Oh.
I wish they would have done like the sailor cougar on the side of the helmet.
That would be sweet.
The Y is cool, but I felt like it looked weird because you've got that block Y on the side of the helmet, and then you've got our normal Y on the front of the helmet and on the jersey. And I was like, you gotta pick one or the other here. It's kind of no, they're sweet. They're sweet, but I felt like I felt like we missed an opportunity.
You feel like they missed the mark. So you wanted the sailor coug on the helmet.
Swing and a miss. Yes, I did.
Yeah, that would have been sweet. I can get behind that. Matt, what do you think of him?
Well, I wouldn't say it was a full on swing and a miss. I think we got a piece of the ball on this one. I liked the Y idea. I agree with the Y. I agree with Spencer. I like the Y, but I wish we could have maybe switched it up on the jersey and on the front of the helmet just to kind of match it all up. But also, I would have liked to see the white pants.
Okay.
White pants with like the all white. We have the white cleats. We got the white socks with the blue royal blue stripes. White top, white helmet. Why not just go white pants and make this game a real whiteout? And I think that would have been. I mean, look, I like it. I think it looks really cool. The white pants would have been cool.
Would have made it just that much better. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
That much better.
I have to say I'd really like the tube socks though. I think the tube socks are awesome.
I agree.
That adds a lot. All right, before we go into this next little segment, I want you guys to kind of update the fans on what you guys are up to now that it's been 1 year for Matt and a couple years for Spencer since you guys have been on the BYU football team. Spencer, let's start with you. What are you up to these days?
Yeah, so just working. I got married. I've got a little family. I've got 2 kids. I've got a daughter named Holland. She is 20 months old, getting close to 2, and all that comes with that. She's developing a little attitude, so that's fun.
I love it.
No, she's great. And then we've got a little boy who's 6 months old, and he's a tank. He's like 20 pounds.
Oh.
And, he's a beast. So
I love it.
It's a lot of fun. So we've got those 2 kids. I work now local. We live in Saratoga Springs, and I work out of Pleasant Grove at a company called Dental Intel.
Okay.
We sell a dental software. So
that's awesome. Good times. Good times. I know it's always weird. I feel like for former football players when they have to start doing regular jobs, they're like, everything sounds not as cool as playing football, but it actually is. It's awesome.
That's the worst.
Don't be depressed.
I ate a gallon of ice cream to get over that. You kidding me?
Hey, you're providing for your family. You got a beautiful family. That's the most important thing.
No, it's good. Life is great.
That's awesome. Matt, what about you? What are you up to these days?
Yeah, so we have a 10-month-old. She was born during last season.
Oh, so she's darling.
That was fun stuff. Thank you. Yeah, her name's Scotland. and she's growing quickly, very quickly, which is fun to see. We currently live in Napa, California.
Okay.
And we love it here. Yeah, it's a great town. Company based out of Utah. It's called Providence Group.
Okay.
And so essentially they work with skilled nursing facilities, and they hire what they call administrators in training, and they train these administrators for, a good amount of time to where they feel like they can then place these AITs, administrators in training, where they can place us in a building of our own, after we're licensed with the federal government and the state government.
Okay.
And then we run these skilled nursing facilities for the company.
That's awesome. Well, good work, you two. I love it. Doing good things in the world. And for those who don't know, Matt, when he had his baby Scotland, it was actually right after a game. Was it not? Like your wife was at the game watching it, and you guys headed to the hospital right after and had her.
It was. Yeah. The doctor called us the day before the game and said, "Hey, you're scheduled tomorrow for induction at 6:00." I think the game got over around 5:30, so we had to hustle over to the hospital, and now she came. So
that's incredible.
It went well, though.
Now that I've had my own child in the meantime, I realize the significance of all that. So wow, good on your wife.
Yeah.
Good on you and your wife. That was crazy.
She's a rock star.
That's awesome. All right, guys, thanks for catching us up on where you're at now. We're actually going to take a little short break, but when we come back, we're going to focus more on the BYU-Washington game, and we're going to do a little quiz to see how much you know about the University of Washington. We'll be right back.
Did you know Warren Moon, University of Washington class of 78, is the only player inducted in the NFL and CFL Hall of Fames? He is also the first undrafted quarterback and first African-American quarterback enshrined in canon.
Welcome back to the Cougar Tailgate. We're here with Spencer and Matt Hadley, former BYU football greats. Okay, so now we're going to take you guys back home real quick and test your knowledge. But it is of the University of Washington football. You guys are not fans, but I'm sure being from Washington, you might... Did I hear an ooh?
No.
Listen, you might know the answer. We're just going to test it out, all right? Okay, question number 1 is, what is the name of the rivalry game between Washington and Washington State every year?
Ooh, easy. Apple Cup.
Got it. Was that Matt?
Wait, yeah, that was Matt. Wait a minute, hold on. Is this the competition between the two?
Yeah, we're gonna. Yes, it is a competition. Yep.
Okay, 1 point for me.
Everything's a competition when you're brothers. It just that you should have known. Okay, so question number 2: who leads the all-time series between Washington and Washington State?
Ooh, I would say UW.
Huskies.
Yep, that was Spencer,
Huskies.
Right? Okay, 1-1.
I mean, yeah, that's fair, I guess.
All right, here we go. Washington is one of 2 continuous and founding members of the now Pac-12. It used to be the Pac-10, Pac-8, AAW, and PCC. Who is the other team that was a part of that? That was originally part of the PCC at the beginning. UW and one more team that's now in the Pac-12.
UCLA?
Incorrect.
Dang it.
Now Spencer gets one guess.
Cal.
You got it. Ding, ding. It's Cal. Cal and UW both joined the Pac Coast Conference in 1915. How did you not know that? Matt, come on. 1915. Okay. Which of the following Washington quarterback greats finished top 10 in Heisman voting? Was it Warren Moon, Marcus Tiososopo, or Mark Brunell?
Brunell.
I'm going to say Tuiasosopo. I was going to say Brunell, but I'm not guessing the same one.
It was actually Tuiasosopo.
Yes, sir. All right.
I don't know what the score is.
Are you Googling? I think he's Googling something over there.
I promise you I'm not, though I did think about it.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were gonna give Jake Locker as an option, and I was just gonna guess.
I would have gone with that one too.
He's He's probably the only quarterback I watched while he was at UW.
Well, it was not him. It was not him. What is the score right now? It was it's 3-1.
It's
something like that?
3-1.
All
We'll
right.
put a little asterisk next to that one.
Okay, we only have 2 more questions, so here we go.
Ooh.
Double Jeopardy.
Double Jeopardy. What is the name of the Huskies' Husky mascot?
Oh.
Like the actual dog. It's an Alaskan Malamute.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's a Husky.
Sparky? I have no idea.
Sparky!
Is it
Balto?
Bruno?
Is it Balto?
No, none of those. Great guesses though. It's actually Dubs. His name's Dubs.
That's what I said.
Oh, seriously?
Wow! My ears deceive me.
No,
I did not hear a
there must
Dubs.
have been feedback in the microphone.
You know what? Here's a bonus. Yeah, well, I did get a little feedback there. Here's a bonus. What's the guy in the suit mascot called? What's that mascot called?
The guy,
like the guy in the suit, like not the actual dog, but like the guy that dresses up as the mascot.
Yeah,
Do you know his name? Like
I'll be
Cosmo.
honest,
Cosmo's
I
ours.
couldn't care less.
Yeah, I have no idea what.
His name's Harry. It's Harry. Harry the Husky. So there you go.
What? I'm not kidding. I was going to say Harry was the name of the dog, but I thought Sparky was.
You said Barky before.
Dang it.
All right. Okay, last question here. Washington has claimed at least a share of the national championship 4 times. Can you name one of those 4 years? One of the 4 years. I will give you a hint. One of the years definitely includes... Oh, no, never mind. Nope, false information. Take a guess of a year.
Let us stray.
Two of the years were in the 90s.
1991.
Ding, you got it. 1991 was one. All right, Matt, what's your...
Was it?
Yes, what's your guess?
That was one of them. 95.
Nope. So we got 1960, 1984, 1990, and 1991. So I was going to say 84 is obviously the notable one, seeing that was the year BYU won the national championship, but it was a little controversial since Washington beat Oklahoma in the Orange Bowl, and their only loss was to USC. BYU was undefeated. But some people thought Washington should have been the national champion.
How is that controversial? Get out of here.
Yeah.
I know. Come on. I don't know.
Whoever thinks that, we can go ahead and completely ignore them.
Well, we don't care about Washington, apparently. Through this interview, we've made that clear. So, okay, guys, that's all we got for you. Thank you so much for taking the time, and hopefully we get to see you here in Provo soon to come watch a game.
Yeah,
definitely.
Be fun. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, you bet. Good luck, guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks. Take care.
Thanks. We'll see you.
AstroTurf was all the rage in the 70s and 80s, but did you know that Husky Stadium in Seattle, Washington was the first college field to sport that infamous green carpet? The Cougar Tailgate continues right after this.
Wingbacks and wide receivers to the right. One single left. Slovis pressured and going down. Back at the 12, 13-yard line. Khyiris Tonga on the put down.
Thanks for joining the Cougar Tailgate this week, and thanks again to our guests, Matt and Spencer Hadley and The Rock, the BYU students that joined our conversation about the whiteout, throwback jerseys, and their favorite uniform combos for BYU. Last week I had the chance to talk to BYU defensive tackle and sometimes fullback, Khyiris Tonga. How long have you been playing fullback for BYU?
A good 2 weeks.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
How did that come about? Who brought up that that's what you guys should do, and how did it come about?
So we had that play last year, and it was Braden Al-Bakri, who was the original fullback.
Mm-hmm.
And they had someone else going into the season. So, and one time we were getting food, and Coach Lyman was right there. He's our special teams guy, and he's the one who comes up with the plays.
Uh-huh.
And he's ahead of the scrum play. And hey, if you need a real fullback, I got you. And then one day I'm just sitting in special teams, and my name was up there. He's like, all right, Khyiris, he's going to start taking some reps. So I started taking reps, learning how to take the right steps, staying low, and keep my pad low right. So it's been good.
You like it?
I love it. I want to play fullback.
Really? You're like, can I switch over?
No, I always tell Coach Grimes, I even tell Coach Clark, like, tight end, like, if you need someone to block, I'll stay. I don't need to run routes. I'll help out with the block. So
That's so cool. That's everyone's dream, to play both offense and defense. You got to do it. That's so cool.
Yeah.
What would a win against Washington mean this weekend for the team?
It mean a lot. I mean, last year, for those who were there last year, it was hard. We were both going in ranked, and they just beat us on both sides of the ball. Every aspect of the game, it was just Washington. And this is an opportunity for us to go and improve ourselves, walk in with a chip on our shoulders, and just to have fun against a great team.
You had a good turnaround against Wisconsin last year. The year before that, they beat you pretty handily. Then you beat them last year. Do you think it's possible to do the same with Washington this year?
Yeah, I think it's possible. That's what we're working hard for, is to be able to do that. I think it just starts with every day, everyone just doing the right things and making sure everyone's healthy and doing what they need to do.
And from your perspective, what has been the impact of turnovers both on offense and defense in the last two games?
When the defense gets a turnover, it's just a momentum shift for the whole team. The offense builds off of it, and when they score, it's just going off of like, hey, they're going off on kickoff with some energy, and then when the end of the kickoff team makes a great play, Micah or someone goes down and makes a tackle, it just rolls off on the defense. So it's just a cycle, it just continues to go, and it all starts with the big plays like that.
Yeah. Do you think there should be some turnover trophy?
We have like a turnover like board, but I think we kind of got away from it. It's just like writing our name on a board. But
really?
Yeah, it would be cool to have like a little trophy or something. Yeah. But it's fun though.
What do you feel like it would be if you guys had a trophy? What would it be?
I feel like everyone's doing chains. I think we should have like some shoes and dancing. Whoever gets to do a dance move in it. I don't know, something like that.
I love that.
Yeah, it'd be something cool, something different, something funny. So yeah, it's just everyone loves dancing after the game. So
I know, make that.
That'd be fun.
The line dance. Was that Kalani's idea?
I don't know whose idea. Everyone was line dancing and everyone just went with it. Whatever Kalani's doing, we have to do. So everyone's tired, everyone's hurting, and you see Kalani dancing, you got to dance. So.
Doesn't matter how injured you are, you got to do it. Yeah, who's in charge of the music in the locker room?
It's one of our strength coaches. Yeah, he plays some funny music, man. But it's cool after the game. You don't care what song is on. You're just happy with the win and you're dancing. So
you heard the electric slide and I was like,
oh yeah,
okay, that's what we're doing.
Yeah, people kicking their cleats off and they just started moving. Like mid-talk, everyone's talking and everyone started sliding. So it was fun.
I love that. Is that kind of become a tradition after every win to do a
just start dancing. Yeah, Coach Kalani just turn the music up. And then everyone just starts dancing in the middle. It started off with just like 3 players, and then we'll huddle up. Now the whole team's getting into it. Everybody's rapping on the side, doing their own thing. Yeah, just as long as everyone's into it. And we even had like recruits dancing with us. Like they're just having fun with it. So it's been good.
I love that. It's rare that the entire student section storms the field after a win. Where were you in that moment that everyone came on the field?
I was dead center. So, like, because they had to, like, push everyone back, making sure. I'm like, all right, please, Diane, I hope you held on to the ball. And they're like, yeah, I feel like the play stands. I just remember everyone coming up, and we're getting hit. Like, I felt like I was getting hit harder than I was in the game. Like, people were like, hey, good game, and they slapped me. I was like, oh, damn. So I was trying to, like, get out. It was hard because, like, once everyone got there, and I felt bad because, like, I know as football players, we don't smell good. But people are like running up, like we're all sweaty, and people just good game, just slapping you, where it's like all wet, it hurts. So it was good though, man. It's a good memory.
Oh my gosh, you're like that hurt worse than these giant offensive linemen coming at me. And we hope the team will be dancing once again in the locker room after today's game. We are under an hour until kickoff, and before we leave, we want to send some good vibes to the Cougars by looking back at one of the most memorable moments from our matchups with the Huskies over the years. In 2008, BYU was the 15th ranked team in the country, preparing for a trip north to Loud Husky Stadium. Washington QB Jake Locker was only a sophomore at the time, but was youthful enough to throw and run all over the field with reckless abandon. The Cougs, meanwhile, were led on offense by Max Hall, Harvey Unga, and Dennis Pitta. It was an offense that would average over 34 points per game during the 2008 season. A Week 3 59-0 blowout against UCLA would help that scoring average, but we're talking about Week 2 versus Washington right now. The Cougars and Huskies went back and forth in scoring all game, but in a game where it felt like the last team to have the ball would win, Washington was in the red zone with time winding down. Locker ran in the potentially game-tying touchdown with only 2 seconds to go, bringing the score to 28-27. But this was 2008, and there was a short-lived rule that changed the course of the game. Celebrations were closely monitored in college and professional football around the late 2000s. After scoring, players were asked to specifically hand the ball to the refs. Actions like dunking the ball over the goalpost, group celebrations, and spiking the ball all garnered 15-yard unsportsmanlike conduct penalties. So, Jake Locker runs in a score in front of the hometown fans with time running out against a top 15 nationally ranked team, and with all that energy, he threw the ball behind his head and into the ground, which at the time was rightly called as a penalty. This backed up the ensuing PAT attempt 15 yards, tougher than just a normal gimme. Defensive lineman Jan Jorgensen was the hero of the day when he blocked the kick, ending the game in regulation with BYU on top 28-27. And with what's been happening with BYU football the past 2 weeks in their overtime games, I am assuming that there's going to be an equally as dramatic ending to the Washington game today. Thank you so much for joining us on the Cougar Tailgate, a production of BYU Radio and Go Cougs.